Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2018 Career Mode, episode number 86. So it is now late August. We're still in La Vuelta. It's only stage number 3 though, so early days yet. Stage 3, it's a punchy one, but as long as you can get through the first climb, you should be able to get through the rest of the stage okay. They have our punchiest riders at the front, and that just does not seem to fit the profile because of the way the end of the stage works. But as most of the action will happen at the beginning of the stage, potentially anyway, let's go ahead and stay live through this one. Quick Step seem to be the favorites, but again, like I said, this is going to have less to do with that. I think the mountain rating is going to be a lot more important on this stage than the hills rating. Overall, it's 176 kilometers, just the one categorized climb, even though there are, I'd say, 3 additional climbs on the day, although all of them are moderate, and none of them are very close to the end of the stage. 3 of the 4 total are before the 2/3 of the waypoint, and just the one somewhat close to the end, but it still looks like a good 40 kilometers before the finish line. So while I don't expect we'll have a bunch sprint at the end, I also don't think this will be something that brings it down to just a handful of riders. Now, the unfortunate part is we already have our highest placed rider a minute and a half down overall, so there's a lot of time losses already having happened. It's going to be difficult for us to recover from that. But it's early days. There's a lot of time left in this race. The order will change. One of the good things is we're far enough down that I don't think we'll be taken too seriously, so there could be a chance somewhere, somehow, to make a move that could potentially pick some time up.
Welcome to Mijas for the start of Stage 3. Despite the first category climb that looms after 25 kilometers, the sprinters will have ticked this stage. The Puerto del Madroño is a 20-kilometer climb at 5%, but it's crossed with almost 140 kilometers left in the day. Thereafter, there is still some climbing to do, but there's nothing beyond the sprinters and their teams, especially this early in the tour. They'll be motivated by the idea that the stage returns to the coast. A slight incline towards the finish in Alorien de la Torre will not daunt their spirits. 182.5 kilometers in the saddle should end in a mass sprint.
That sounds more like it than the hills classification that it's pegged as. Finally, Cohen, the last one to come forward. There's a bunch of additional riders going off the front.
Doesn't look interested in following the breakaway. Things have slowed right down.
Alright, well, we have our main guys. We ride for the GC, so let's protect them. There are no sprinters here. Okay, so 13 riders have gone away. They are still coming together. Looks like one more is trying to get away now. A few more are trying to get away now. Awfully late into the game, just about before the base of the climb. That's bad timing with all these additional riders trying to go. Could make the chase hard. It could make the climb hard. 20 kilometers for this climb, and it's only a Category 1. Yeah, it's just not very steep except for right at the top. That's the big thing. It's only 5 degrees. 3 to 5 degrees throughout here. Nearly halfway up. Things have backed off. It's now 17 riders with a 5-minute gap already, but everybody is on cruise mode. That means we are now definitely looking at the prospect of this one being that bunch sprint. That sounds far more likely than the other outcome that was predicted by the stage breakdown. Let's see, who is Simpson? Go get some water, please. There we go. 120k to go. And now all the major climbing is done, so we should only have to get water one more time. We'll also be able to breeze through towards the end at this rate. Gap's down to 4 minutes, and with that sprint point, little divisive, down to 12 riders in the break. Not all of them made it through that climb, so a few guys dropped back. 3.5 minute gap. Looking now like a pretty easy stage number 3. Recovery not totally on, but we're now through 2 of the 4 climbs. Downhill allows for that recovery, and here we go into climb number 3. Still a 3.5 minute gap, still a relative calm in the peloton. Okay, we're almost coming up on our time to grab water. Downhill is a good time to get it, but we want to make sure we're down inside that final 60k. Close enough now that we'll send Simpson back to grab that water. Just as everyone goes thirsty again. Inside 60k, so good timing. Just one climb left to go on the day. Simpson just about back up there. Come on, before these guys all kick in. Getting a little blinking red at the 86. Let's pick up the pace a little bit. So tempo is raising. Should I say rising? 2.5 minutes now, the gap to 12 riders off the front. We've pulled back another 20 seconds as we approach that final climb of the day. Let's bring it on down for the climb, though I think we're still looking pretty comfortable for a while. 40k to go. A little bit of fatigue. Simpson, for one, is done and just at the base of the climb. So Simpson's going to go back. Who was he protecting? Conchi. We might want to move like Cohen to Conchi. And let Swerble ride for himself. There you go. Simpson, one of a handful out the back. Not a ton of riders going backwards, but set him to auto. Get back up in there. It's now 118 chasing 12. I knew that we would drop some riders. I definitely knew we weren't looking at everyone, but it's still 115 in the peloton as we top off the climb here. Go onto the plateau at the top. Well, not really a plateau. It's more like we're going around the outskirts of a larger hill. And then we're going to head back down, apparently towards the coastline. And yes, there is water off in the distance. Now here's the problem. The 12 riders, the gap is back out. So it was down to about 2 minutes. We were pulling them back just fine. And apparently the field decided that we were not going to catch those 12 riders. And we backed off significantly. And now all of a sudden, they're going to take stage 3? Really? The breakaway is taking stage 3? Oh, now that's frustrating. That shakes up the field quite a bit. There's already somebody in a jersey that's in that group as well. So 13K to go. I guess the easy thing here is, well, we can cruise to the finish, and there's nothing to challenge because we're looking for 13th place at best. All right, well, it's still 4 minutes. Oh, what? Are you kidding me? Our entire team, every single one of them, other than Simpson, all just crashed.
We're into the last 5 kilometers. Watch out, team leader is falling behind.
And we are not getting back in this way. We have Hamilton and Conchi, and then Swerble and Vervecki. Maybe we should switch those two. There you go. And then the other guys don't matter as much. So we'll get Veldman, DeVos, and then Cohen and Cohen. 99 effort, please. DeVos, use your gel. Cohen, you need to get to the front quick. Remake contact. This is now officially the peloton. We have already remade contact. There you go. Just like that. Still bring it forward just in case. So come on, guys. $5K to go. Cohen has opened up a little bit of a gap. DeVos is really not making much of an effort here. Look how far Cohen is ahead, and DeVos, who's supposed to be second wheel, is been passed by Veldeman and is going rather slow here. And there is a group off the front, so hopefully there's no time gaps. Fellini takes the stage, Summerhill, Mezgec, and Lamarck Ben King takes 5th. That top 12 all by itself. But we are looking at some time gaps here, so DeVos really letting us down. I have no idea if there's going to be time gaps or not. There certainly could be. It would be really frustrating if they do give time gaps outside of the 12. A lot of that's on the crash, but not all of it. DeVos certainly just blew it when it came to working our way back forward to be safe. Cohen damn near got a kilometer away from DeVos, and DeVos was right on his wheel. Veldeman ended up 300 meters out in front of DeVos as we were supposed to be coming forward. So no idea what happened with him and why he just could not navigate his way back through the pack. But that hurt. And if we're lucky, it won't. But knowing this game, they're going to open up some time gaps back there, thinking that the field split legitimately.
And here are the race highlights that we've selected for you.
So, real surprise of a day. First, the breakaway is given the victory. They didn't have it. It was a 2-minute gap with 30 kilometers to go. That's not something you don't pull back. All right, well, here's the first gap, 3:10. No time gap so far. There's Cohen. There's DeVos. There's Veldeman. Swerble. Vervecki. Conchi. Hamilton. We're good. There's your time gaps to the back groups. And Simpson, of course, among them. Miguel Angel Lopez, Dan Martin, out of the race. So Movistar's top rider, gone. Wow. So we might not have suffered from it, and somehow survived it. But looky here. Your top 4 now look like those guys were all in the breakaway. Roglic now 5th. Jungels, Nibali, other remnants of the break mixed in at the top. Look at these time gaps now. Lucas Hamilton is 3.5 minutes down in 32nd place. And we're only 3 stages into this race. What a weird start to this race. Stage 4, and the GC will finally begin to sort itself out in a more natural selection type way than the chaotic first few stages have been. The breakaway has a massive lead, though. 7.5 minutes to those 19 riders. I don't know what is going on in this race. It's looking like the final stages, with breakaways being allowed to just go claim the stage while the GC then battles it out. I've never seen that in the early stages like this. But we've already pulled back a little bit of time as we go up the first of 2 significant climbs on the day. This one well over 20 kilometers. In fact, we still have 20 kilometers to go, and we've already been climbing for almost 5. Cohen's a little tired, Simpson's a little tired, Veldam and DeVos, so our protective riders, not the protected riders, they're doing just fine. But we could burn through the other 4 before the top of this first climb. Now, today, I do believe will be a small group finish, and there's probably a good chance we'll catch that breakaway anyway. They're going to start shattering before too long. But if they don't shatter at all on this first climb, which so far they're looking like they won't, there's a chance they'll hang on and take the stage. We're down to 125 in the peloton, so it is thinning out at this point, but I haven't lost anybody yet. Cohen looking the most likely to get dropped. He's on a -2. Breakaway should come back together. That was fighting for the top. Ben King, dominating the KOM early on. 106 in the peloton. So what I was about to say is a lot of riders, GC contenders, should all finish in a bunch. But they'll be without their support riders for the most part. So we'll be lucky if we have... I think we should get somebody to the end, but it might not be all 4 of our top guys. Peloton now at 71. Everybody's hanging on. Cohen only just, but he is hanging on, and that's pretty big. We are definitely in need of water right now, though, and we are not at the point where we are set to go to the end, so we're going to have to get water twice. But that's not a big deal. We've got one more kind of intermediary climb coming up. Mark Padoon has withdrawn, so that's a pretty quality rider right there. Peloton back up to 107. I'm not sure if others will come back at us, especially with this little intermediate climb here that we are just about to hit. Cohen, pace is starting to pick up, so you can see Cohen is fading a bit more quickly this time, so he might be done soon, but pretty proud of the guys, the fact that we got everybody up and over so far, definitely having an impact on how we're doing. But Cohen, fading, we go over the top though, so maybe he'll recover. Let's send Simpson back for water again. .98 in the peloton, 13 in the break. They have a near 5-minute lead, so we're gonna have to pull back a little more time before that climb if we are to prevent another breakaway stage victory. And of course, that's not in our control, and theoretically we should be sending riders into the break every day, but I'm trying to not waste our riders on that for the chance at stage victories. I'm not looking at stage victories for this race. I'm not looking at pleasing our sponsor by being in the break. The game doesn't notice that. Real life does. Stage victory obviously would turn out to be a positive there, but I just don't think we're in a position to go claim one. And wasting riders on that takes away from our chance at a decent GC position, and that's what we ride for. We're going to try to get Hamilton and Conchi as high as we can. And we have not pulled back the gap on these guys at the front, so if we allow the time to go out, which it's not, it's kind of held steady. If we were to allow that time to go out, then I could see half the peloton making it to the top of the climb. But we'll see. They're starting to attack each other, and that's not useful. Well, maybe that was just the sprint point. They still haven't come back together. It's been a while. We just went through it ourselves, and we're definitely a ways behind those guys. We're almost 3 kilometers behind them. Okay, this is the bigger climb. Let's set this up a little higher. You can already see Vervecchi was blinking red even at the 88 a moment ago. And as this is that final climb, let's bring it on down here so we can see a little bit better what's going on. Prepare ourselves. Gap up to 4:54, so they have pulled out another 10-15 seconds. They could be on their way to another stage victory, which is just crazy. This has been a very, very unusual La Vuelta to start. Everybody's blinking red now, though, at 89. Stops as we begin to go up. So it's 11 kilometers to the end, and we are now climbing. The real climbing, though, comes here in a little bit. This section, not so bad, 5%. Bad enough to do damage. Peloton, 98. Front group is disorganized. That's good for us. Yeah, they're coming back together, though. 4.5 minutes, one rider a little bit further ahead. Peloton already down to 90, so it's shrinking quickly. Cohen's almost done. And here comes an attack. Youngles, Bardet. I'm not covering that off. Quintana, Latour, Isagira. Now I'm thinking about covering it. Hamilton, how you looking? Pretty strong. 7 kilometers, though. I don't know if he can hang with those guys. But what a time difference this would make if we could get him up there. Get through that gap, please. Attack. Yeah, there goes Yates as well. Here goes Roglic. This is the move. We want to go relay, though. There's a group there breaking away. Can I get Conchi up here? See if Conchi can cover that gap. Who could take him up there? Vervecchi looking pretty good. Vervecchi, yeah, you have the hills rating as well.
The finish line is getting close. The riders just passed the 5 kilometers road sign.
Hamilton, how is he still on the front? Chasing 6. Hamilton, hey, Hamilton, there you go. Okay, DeVos, Vervecchi, ooh, hello. We have a group separation here. I like this. Okay, so Simpson, Cohen. I have 5 riders along with Fellini and Velens. 99. Vervecchi's the strongman. Follows Swerble. Conchi's the strongman. Feldman's done. DeVos is at the front. You need to give me what you have left, which is not much, but let's get Swerble ready. Swerble, you need to get to the front here. DeVos still leading the way. Swerble kind of pulling himself into position. That's good. Meanwhile, up here, Hamilton, yeah, hanging on. Did not expect this big separation like this. DeVos is almost done, so Swerble's about to have to take over. There you go, Swerble. Come on, make contact. There you go. And now it's your turn. So we'll see what we can do with these guys, because for one thing, we are riding for Conchi as well. We just allowed the field to regain contact, though. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of pulling them back. But Hamilton hanging on here. And no breakaway anymore. So we've got a peloton of 16 riders. This is actually really good for Hamilton. The group behind, though. Let's use your gel. Let's use your gel. There's Yates in the gap. Mater, Fellini. Swirbel's done. Vervecchi, your turn. Pull Conchi.
The sprint is on. The riders are setting themselves up.
Hamilton's hanging on. He's got yellow bar but no red bar. 1.3K. That's breakaway, guys. We are at the front.
He really was the
Breakaway claims the win. Hamilton just hanging there. No sprint, no sprint. Just hang in there as best you can. Now sprint, just to not lose time. Vervecchi and Conchi are done. They're going backwards. They're going to lose a little time. Hamilton gets there, though, so that was important. Where were we? Quintana 10, Bardet, Simon Yates, Latour, Bernal, Youngles, Roglic. Breakaway guys. Hamilton 19th, Uman 20th. Shouldn't have lost any time there. Hamilton, that's going to be a good boost. And the field definitely split. Simpson, 300 meters. And Cohen. Let him ride it out. It's fine. There you go. Cohen just outside of the top 100. Otherwise, everybody into the top 100. Hamilton 19th on the stage. But there's a good, 6 riders up there that were breakaway riders, maybe more. Maybe 8 or 9. And he was in a select group otherwise. So this will begin to shake up the standings. See how we're looking now after this. Last couple of riders coming to the front. Just 35 minutes behind, so nobody's going to miss the time cut today.
Now for the race highlights.
But can't believe it. Again, the breakaway claiming the stage. I'm used to seeing that at the end of the tours, where time gaps are massive. And the GC guys just don't care anymore. But at the start, it's so odd. It is so odd. I mean, they gained a minute 44 spread out, those 9 riders. That's 9. Plus, in our group, there were some breakaway riders. We all end up on the same time through 24th with those at least 3 breakaway riders, if not more, split into our group. Chirico, Komen, and Vanda Merwe. All of those guys were not GC contenders. Nibali loses time. And Solomon. Good climber there. Bookman loses time. Adam Yates loses time. Fellini was on top of the standings after winning the last stage from the breakaway. Alaphilippe loses time. Gaudu. Uran loses time. Poles. Kwiatkowski. Of course, Conchi. Oof, they lost even more time. So Conchi's chances just went down the drain a bit. Fellini still leads the race after taking stage 3 from the break. Roglic now back up to second. Youngles 1 second behind him in third. You got Bernal in 5th. Yates 6th. There's Quintana. Nibali has dropped a bit. Adam Yates has dropped a bit. Hamilton up to 22nd, 2 minutes 20 seconds behind. There's Conchi at 5:12. Oof. He could be a candidate for a breakaway stage to try to claw back time. Ben King, complete control of the KOM at the moment. R.A. Morita taking Conchi. I lost Conchi. I've completely forgotten by this point. It's already been a good while since we recorded the episode about next year's team. Oh no, I want transfers. There it is, teams. Yeah, Conchi, our one and only departure. That kind of hurts. He's a good rider. But we are getting Pogacar and Unsen in, so it's actually a small upgrade, but very small. It's hard to believe that we are just 4 stages into this race with all that has happened already. I don't think I've ever seen a Grand Tour be this divisive through that short of a period. Sure, you've seen time gaps, where you open with a prologue or a team time trial or full-blown time trial. It creates time gaps, but the time gaps are generally consistent, and you don't see times just explode the way they have. Now, stage 5, that is a punchy stage. That is a lot of undulation through the first 3 quarters. Settles down, allows people to recover if they're still there on this descent. And then this climb will divide the field. That will absolutely leave some riders behind. But then with this long descent, how many riders can get back? How many riders are going to take the risk of trying to attack the descent, stay clear, and then get through the little flat section at the finish to try to hang on? I mean, you could see somebody like Sagan doing a very good job of that. Yeah, downhill 83. But would he still be there with the 68 mountain? Good chance he won't be. 86 kilometers to go. 3.5 minute gap to another large breakaway. 21 riders again. For whatever reason, this has been the year of the break for this Grand Tour. We'll see if anything changes anytime soon. But again, looking like they've got a chance. The breakaway stays away. We've already pulled back 1 minute, though. We need to continue pulling that time back if we're going to finally have a winner coming out of the peloton and not from the breakaway. Meanwhile, the pace definitely suggests that we will pull them back. We're putting a herding into the breakaway, even though we've only pulled back a small amount of time so far, about 15-20 seconds over the last little bit. You can see how tired literally every single rider is, despite protection or not. Crash there is going to hurt some guys. Vander Mure, one of the breakaway guys who benefited from time earlier, involved in that crash, might not come back this time. The descent upcoming, though, could things. Hecked out. Simpson nearly done. I was about to send him back to get water one last time, and it looks like it's going to need to be somebody more like Veldeman who does it. We're at the 60k mark, and on this long descent, and 2 descents over this stretch should be enough to have water get us the rest of the way to the finish. 2 descents, 1 climb. Veldeman taking a while to get that water, though. He's not really coming back forward at the moment. There you go. He finally finds a little gap. Gets through the field a bit, and there you go. Before we go uphill, that's important. This climb coming up, we need to slow things down a little bit. 105 in the peloton, so there are definitely riders that have been left behind, and that was what I had expected. The breakaway, we've nearly caught up to most of them. They've shattered a bit. The pace has definitely been the reason why we've pulled this time back, and I think we are definitely in for finally having a win here in this group. But how many of the 105 will get over the top of this climb? You can see we were blinking red there for a moment with our 88s. It's a minute 17, minute 20 to the remnants of the break as we go uphill. 10K to go to the top. And Peloton beginning to thin out. 93 riders. Cohen is going backwards. Cohen was protecting Hamilton. We need to switch that up. It needs to be somebody else now. Veldeman, your turn. Oh, no. Oh, my bad. Not Cohen. Hamilton. Simpson already gone out the back. I didn't even see that happen. Who was he protecting? Looks like Swerble. So Swerble riding solo now, and Vervecki riding solo. Let's go ahead and get Swerble on protecting Vervecki to keep him around. We still have a little ways to go on this climb, but nobody's slipping back right now. Veldeman, though, it's his turn. He is heading backwards. So Swerble, go ahead and switch off to Hamilton, and we'll let Vervecki ride solo. And then with Veldeman, we'll set you to auto. He is going to drift over time. And let's go ahead and ride with him as he does. 5K to the summit. There's the banner for that. And Veldeman's not gone yet. He's actually recovered a little bit. So it looks like we might have sat up somewhat. There's no way with only a minute gap that breakaway is going to claim this stage. You've got to be kidding me. Veldeman's recovering. Is somebody else back on board? No, DeVos is still there. Still protecting Conchi. 76. We're not losing anybody right now. And the gaps have opened. It's 2:45. We were only a minute behind those guys. There is no way that breakaway is winning this stage. Oh, this is insane. It's like they are just punishing the crap out of me for being somebody who consciously makes the decision that they don't want to partake in the breakaways, because the breakaways rarely win. And we want to contest the GC, and we want to see how we can do in that one time, right? Yes, I know I could probably steal a stage somewhere if I participated in every single breakaway. Veldeman makes it over the top comfortably. He was done. And there's just no pace in the group. No pace at all. We've literally just sat up. It's a 3-minute gap now. I don't understand what is going on in this peloton. It makes no sense to me. But Veldeman will put you at the back because you're, at the back. Let's get Hamilton. Let's get Conchi. Let's get Vervecki, who's looking pretty good. Swerble, and then DeVos. And DeVos, you have a good downhill rating. That's nice. Do something with it. I can't stand this. We are going to be the team to chase. I cannot believe that we are allowing the breakaway to take another stage. Not even halfway up, the lead was a minute. They did not beat us. Breakaway didn't take this. The field is letting it happen. The field doesn't care. I do! Damn it. This is so frustrating. I can't believe that this has happened again. Hamilton, let's try to get up there with the wheel. Veldeman recovering a bit. 75 in the peloton. Way too many riders here. Go ahead and go 99 there, DeVos. Just don't take out the entire team, please.
10 kilometers to the finish line. A fall just took place in the pack.
48 in the peloton. Veldeman finally making his way up here.
Holy cow, that was a fall.
And that takes us to the bottom. So, Swerble, use your gel. It's going to be your turn here in a minute. We're not going to catch those guys. The gap is massive. It's 2.5 minutes. But we would have easily passed them long before the top of the climb. 43 in the peloton. I like that a bit better. That is going to be some time losses for other riders. 7K to go. Revecki, use your gel.
25 kilometers.
Conchi, use your gel. Hamilton, use your gel. Veldeman, use your gel. Veldeman's the closest to a sprinter we've got. 5K, keep the pressure on. I don't want anyone to catch us.
None of the favorites is giving an inch.
44 riders. 1.5K.
The riders are setting themselves up. A great
Conchi,
victory. He really
Hamilton,
handled the breakaway well.
Veldeman. 7 riders of the break take it. Veldeman. Oh, Adam Yates takes 8th. Veldeman nearly wins the meaningless sprint.
Are still coming in.
But a relatively thin group. How is that still a group of 42? Look at those gaps. Come on now. This was not a sprint stage. Those gaps will definitely not be given, though. That'll be seen as one group. But we did thin it out, so at least there's that. I do find that utterly ridiculous that it came up to us to drop 30 riders from the peloton. And only 2 of those, no, 1 of those were mine. DeVos, the only one who slipped out the back. Cohen and Simpson were already gone.
Now for the race highlights.
What a ridiculous race so far. In a good way, I suppose. It makes it more interesting. But so far it has not benefited us. The chaos has inflicted pain and suffering. You get all these guys gaining time, moving up the order, somehow still in the standings, and we've lost time. Hamilton, we lost time for random things. And here we are. They ended up giving same time to 60-something riders, even though we had a significant gap from our group to anyone behind. Trinetska into the race lead. Roglic second. Youngles, Bernal, Simon Yates, Quintana. It's starting to look more like GC riders, but you still have 3, 4, 5 guys mixed within the top 20. Hamilton moves up to 20th now, so it is thinning in his direction, and if you still have about 5 guys who are not contenders in any way, shape, or form around the top 20, then Hamilton is now looking more like about 15th. My hope is to squeeze the top 10. My expectation is about a 15th. So from 20th, well, we're not looking so good, but it is starting to look a little more like it should. Meanwhile, Conchi only 37th for him, so there's still a lot of guys, and just looking through there, you have a lot of guys that are normally GC contenders, fringe, but then you have a lot of support riders, second, third riders in a team, and then you do have still in there another 8 to 10 of those breakaway names that we've been seeing. I guess we're making progress. That's something. But it's not ideal. This has been a very unusual first slightly under a quarter of the race. Got a lot of race left to go. Some sprint stages that are going to be unimportant. Not too many of those. We've got a lot of climbing left to do. Stage 6 is definitely one of those. Let's go ahead and get out of here real quick, see who claims this one. This will put us onto the stage. That is a third of the way. Hope there's no time losses. Not to us. So we're good there. And let's go ahead and call that an episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a strange one. It most definitely has been a strange one to start out, but there is plenty of racing yet to do at La Vuelta. Dominating Continental, 1,000 points clear, 15th in the Super Prestige. Not too shabby. But I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Happy New Year. Bye for now.